My name is Ogu Peter Edo. I teach government with Nigerian Tulip International Colleges. Today we're going to review past questions for JAMB 2019. Number 1, which UN organ has primary responsibility for the maintenance of world peace and security? A, the General Assembly. B, the Secretariat. C, the International Court of Justice. D, the Security Council. Of course, the correct answer is D, the Security Council. The Security Council has the responsibility of maintaining world peace and security, global world peace and security. So that is why option D, which is Security Council, is the correct answer. Number 2, which is the supreme organ of the OAU? A, the Council of Ministers. B, the Administrative Secretary General. C, the Assembly of Heads of States and Government. D, none of the above. The correct answer to this question is option C, the Assembly of Heads of States and Government. The Assembly of Heads of States the Assemblies of Heads of States and Government, of course, is actually the supreme organ of the OAU. That is where the highest decision making for the Organization of African Unity normally takes place. So the supreme organ of OAU is the Assembly of Heads of States and Government. Number 3, Sir Henry Willing of Britain was the chairman of a commission which investigated one of the following problems of Nigeria in 1958. A, commercial banking problems. B, minority problems and fears. C, problems of political parties. D, problems of public corporation. The correct option is option B, which is minority problems and fears. Actually, the Willing Commission of 1958, established by the colonial authority in Nigeria, was actually commissioned to investigate the problems of minority and fears of minority in Nigeria to see how they can accommodate them as Nigeria was preparing for independence in its constitution. Number 4, the OAU has its headquarters in A, Freetown. B, Dar es Salaam. C, Nairobi. D, Addis Ababa. The correct answer, of course, is option D, Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa houses the headquarters of Organization of African Unity. That is why option D, which is Addis Ababa, is the correct answer. Number 5, which of the following countries in West Africa has not experienced military intervention in politics? A, Upper Volta. B, Sierra Leone. C, Mali. D, Ivory Coast. The correct answer is option D, Ivory Coast. Since the independence of Ivory Coast, they have never experienced any military coup. But all the other options, they have experienced military coup or military intervention in their politics one time or the other. That is why option D, which is Ivory Coast, is the correct answer. Number 6, ECOWAS represents A, the English-speaking equivalent of Francophone Economic Community in West Africa. B, an attempt to progressively eliminate obstacles to free movement of goods and services and peoples throughout West Africa. C, the West African regional arm of the United Nations Economic and Social Council. D, a continent-wide economic dimension of Pan-Africanism. The correct option is option B, an attempt to progressively eliminate obstacles to free movement of goods and services and peoples throughout West Africa. That actually is the primary aim or primary objective of establishing ECOWAS. It was actually an attempt to eliminate obstacles from free movements of goods and services and people throughout West Africa. That was why ECOWAS was fundamentally established. That is why the correct option is option B. Number 7. The executive is the body that A. executes armed robbers, B. interprets the law, C. implements law, D. enacts law. The correct answer to number 7 is option C, which is implements law. Yes, it is the primary duty of the executive to implement, execute the law. That is why option C is the correct answer. Number 8. The principle of separation of powers implies that A. the executive is supreme, B. the executive is powerless, C. power is shared by different but coordinate organs in the state, D. the rule of law obtains. The correct answer to this question number 8 is option C, which is power is shared by different but coordinate organs in the state. The principle of separation of power actually focuses on sharing of power among the 3 organs of government so that each organ of government carries out its duty independently of the other, but they do it in a coordinate manner. That is why option C is the correct answer. Number 9. The term rule of law is applicable only A. in Western type democracies, B. in socialist countries, C. in developing countries, D. in states where laws are supreme. The correct answer to this question number 9 is D. in states where laws are supreme. In states where laws are supreme, it is actually where the principle of rule of law is applicable. So every state that the law is supreme, the principle of rule of law is applicable in that state. Number 10. A presidential system of government is 1. A. where the head of state possesses real power. B. where the principle of separation of power is inapplicable. C. which provides for a ceremonial head of states. D. in which the president is not accountable to anyone. The correct answer to number 10, is option A, which is where the head of state possesses real power. In presidential system of government, that is where the head of state actually possesses real power of the state, unlike in parliamentary system where the head of state performs ceremonial function of the state. Number 11, the decision of the Supreme Court of Nigeria is A. subject to appeal, B. subject to judicial review, C. final, D. B and C. The correct answer is C. Of course, the decision of the Supreme Court of Nigeria is final in every judicial action or any legal tussle. When once the Supreme Court makes its decision, it remains the final decision that everybody has to accept. That is why the correct option to number 11 is option C. Number 12. The doctrine of the separation of power is based on the assumption that A. those who hold power may encroach on the liberties of the powerless. B. power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. C. man is a political animal. D. A and B. The correct answer to this question is option D, A and B. Those who hold power may encroach on the liberties of the powerless. That is the assumption that made the doctrine of separation of power necessary. Then the B part of it, power corrupts and absolute power corrupt absolutely. That is another basis why the doctrine of separation of power is necessary in a state. Number 13, constitutions have been classified as rigid or flexible according to A, whether they were written or unwritten, B, whether they were popular or unpopular, C, the relative ease or difficulty of the writing process, D, the relative difficulty of the amending process. The correct answer to this question is option D, the relative difficulty of the amending process. So what makes the Constitution to be flexible or rigid is how difficult the amendments to such Constitution will take place. So that is why the correct answer to number 13 is option D. Number 14, the first nationalist political party in post-World War II Nigeria was A, NEPU, B, NPC, C, NCNC, D, AG. The correct answer to this question is option C, NCNC, National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon, which was later changed to National Council of Nigerian Citizens, is actually the correct answer because after the Second World War, it remained one of the most nationalist and modern political party established in Nigeria. Number 15, a constituency is the same as A, a local government area, B, a region in federal system of government, C, an electoral district, D, any large town where people vote. The correct answer to this question is option C, an electoral district. A constituency is actually an electoral district that is meant for election to take place so that they can be represented at the national parliament. So that is why option C, which is an electoral district, is the correct answer to this question. Number 16, in the British parliamentary system, if Parliament passes a vote of no confidence in the government, the Prime Minister, A, must change some ministers, B, can ask the Queen to resign, C, and his cabinet may feel obliged to resign, D, can dissolve the opposition party. The correct answer to this question is option C, which is, and his cabinet may feel obliged to resign. Option C is the correct answer. Number 17, which of these is not a method of election? Option A, co-option. B, second ballot. C, proportional representation. D, primary election. The correct answer to this question is option A, which is co-option. Co-option is not one of the types of election. Second ballot is a type of election. Proportional representation is a type of election. Primary election is also a type of election. But the option A, which is co-option, is not a method of election. That is why option A is the correct answer. Number 18, an unwritten constitution is one where A, no part of the constitution is ever written down. B, whole constitution is not contained in any one document. C, the constitution is based on the wishes of the prime minister. D, the constitution is based on what the head of state demands. The correct answer to this question is option B, which is whole constitution is not contained in any one document. In an unwritten constitution, the constitution is not contained in any one document. It's normally contained in scattered form. So that is why the correct answer to this question is option B. Whole constitution is not contained in any one document. Number 19, a body of people or institution that make and enforce law for a particular society is called A, government, B, dictatorship, C, anarchy, D, totalitarianism. The correct answer to this question is option A, government. Of course, the meaning of government is the body of persons or individual or group of people which make and enforce law in a given society. Number 20, a cabinet system of government is practiced in A, Britain and Canada, B, Nigeria, C, Soviet Union, D, the United States of America. The correct answer to this question is option A, Britain and Canada. It is only in Britain and Canada that actually practice cabinet system of government, which is also known as parliamentary system of government. The rest option, they don't practice parliamentary system or cabinet system of government. That is why option A, which is Britain and Canada, is the correct answer. Thank you and have a nice time.